All right, at the end of the last video, I asked if people would like a part 2 on the Haltech Nexus install that shows the rest of the harness installation. A few people said they would like it, so they ruined it for the rest of you that don't want to see me anymore, but for some reason are still subscribed to the channel. So this is part 2, Haltech Nexus install, Trans Am LS1 car, let's go. Also, before I start, I want to ask a question to the general public. It's just a 2-car garage, a little wider than 2-car garage. But on the back side of this wall is my HVAC room. So any of my HVAC professionals, can I punch a hole through this wall and just feed a vent in there? Let me know in the comments below, please, because I'm about to do it. I'm about to headbutt through the drywall and feed a little warm air so I don't have to run a propane heater and start smelling colors. All right, in the last video I put up, we mounted the ECU. Let me get a light so you guys can see what we're doing here. Last video, we mounted the ECU and we got the harness started to be started. The harness is poked through up there. I have not tied any of these wires up yet. I have not ran that bulkhead, that rubber grommet through just yet. But on the engine bay side, I'll show you what we're dealing with. And I'm gonna run through what I did, how I did it, where I did it, and why. But it all comes down to how simple and straightforward that Nexus harness truly is from an installation standpoint. So the last video, the only thing I showed you guys was the harness laid out on a table and then actually repinning the injector connectors. And towards the end of the video, I said, if you guys wanna see part 2 with it actually being run, let me know. So yesterday, the only thing I got accomplished was changing a few connectors and running the harness, which is time consuming and boring to watch on camera, so you guys don't have to sit through that. But now I'll show you kind of how it's routed, where I went with it, and what else I have left to do. All right, so on the Haltech Nexus harness, you have basically 3 main branches that come out from the harness. You have your ignition bank 2, ignition bank 1, and also the injectors for those, and the injectors for these. And then you also have this stalk, if you can follow my finger, goes up through the intake. See it going down through that alternator bracket? That's the accessory stalk that covers TPS, idle air control valve, your alternator pinout, air temperature. They also give you a lead for oil temperature on that, which is not standard on an LS, but they allow you to add it. And then they also have in the back of ignition bank 1, this side branch, they also have oil temperature, oil pressure, because oil pressure is in the back of these motors factory. So all that stuff is plug and play. I had to change a few things. First thing I had to change is my oil pressure sensor is down by the oil filter. So I had to extend that. I didn't want to cut into this Nexus harness, so I made a jumper. I'll show you that in just a second. I also had to take oil temperature and repurpose it for air temperature. I'll show you that. And then I had to make a lead for my alternator because my alternator is on the opposite side of the engine it normally is, and I'm going to show you that. One at a time, I'll go through each one of those things, and those are the only things I had to modify, exception being the injectors that I plugged or repinned the last episode. Now, I went ahead and I took the coil packs off, and I unplugged all the connectors that are on this side to kind of show you what I'm talking about with those branches, and to show you one of the few things that I had to do to make this fit to my car. Now, these harnesses aren't a one-size-fits-all option. You will have to modify them to your specific application if it's not a factory stock application, which obviously this is not. So again, the first thing I had to do was relocate the oil pressure sensor to right down by the oil filter. The little 2-bolt flange that sits above the oil filter, that's where my oil pressure sensor is. And the harness leads to the back of the intake manifold. So I'll show you what I did for that first. Back to under hood. Again, this is one of the 2 main branches, and there's a tertiary branch that comes off here. Tertiary is a word that I don't like using because I'm fairly positive I don't use it correctly. It means 3, I think, or triceratops. This is the triceratops branch. Oh God, what am I doing? Why does anyone watch this? Who watches this? Turn it off! This is one of the 2 main branches. Zoom in here. Like I showed you before, you have injectors that are all labeled. You also have a wideband plug on each side. It has dual widebands, onboard widebands on the Nexus. I'm only gonna use one wideband, because I'm a single turbo. Wideband goes in the downpipe. You do not put widebands pre-turbo. But this main branch is the one I pulled apart to show you. The first thing I had to modify, you see, you can look at this label, it says oil pressure. Well, it comes with a standard 3-pin, just like regular 100 PSI sensor plug. I converted to a Deutsch connector on the end, and then I made an extension harness that runs all the way down and underneath the engine to that sensor. So that's the first thing that I had to modify, nothing crazy. The second thing I had to modify was the alternator plug. Now, Haltech does you a favor, does you a solid. They give you 3 separate alternator pigtails. Those pigtails come in 3 separate bags inside the Nexus harness. So you have for the Yazaki style alternator, which is just a little insane giant 2-pin deal. You have just the standard LS 2-pin Bosch style. And then you have the final one, which is your 4-pin. You don't use all 4 pins, but a 4-pin style plug for the side of the alternator. I think it's 4-pin at least. Yeah, I think it is A to D. This is the alternator style that I had. It's really easy. You just look at your alternator and look at these 3 plugs, and you can basically tell, okay, which one I'm gonna need. They also give you this. This shows you exactly how to wire your alternator depending on the type of alternator you have. So if you have a 01 plus truck or a C5 Vet, if you have an F-body, if you have a C6 Corvette, they tell you how to pin this. This doesn't come already pinned, but the connectors are already crimped on the end of this wire. So you literally just push them into that connector. You make sure that they're wired the right way and you're good to go. So the only thing is my alternator is on this side of the engine, not that side of the engine. So I had to make my own extension harness so it reached this alternator. So that was the second thing that I had to modify, but it still did not have to cut into the Haltech harness. The last modification was only out of necessity. They give you an oil temperature lead on this harness. LS engines don't have an oil temperature sensor factory. At least the ones that I'm used to don't, unless you guys in the comments are like, hey dude, an 05 Saab 912 Aero LMNOP had an oil temp sensor, you stupid idiot. In that case, I'm wrong. But I've never had an oil temperature sensor on an LS, but they give you one just in case you want to run an oil temperature sensor. So on the oil temperature sensor lead, it's much longer than the air temperature sensor lead. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Again, this branch that's not part of the coil packs or anything, it just goes to your IAC and your TPS and all that. It also has your cam sensor, which I'll get into in a second. But this is the air temperature sensor lead that they give you, okay? The problem is this air temperature sensor lead is not long enough to reach my air temperature sensor. What is long enough though, is that oil temperature sensor lead. So I fixed it. I just took a little Sharpie and crossed out oil. I get this to focus. And I wrote, guess what I wrote? Air. Oh, it's smudged, dude. What a bummer, man. Arts and crafts fail. I will then go back into the software and I will change oil temperature and air temperature to reflect what they actually are, and I'll calibrate it for the proper sensor. Same with the oil pressure sensor. You'll have to go into the settings and change whatever sensor you're using, whether it's a Haltech sensor, a low dollar sensor, whatever. You'll have to change it specifically for whatever sensor you're running, which is pretty straightforward in the software. Those are the only 3 things I've had to change on this harness in total. Everything else is plug and play. It fits nicely. And there are very few things to screw up, which is a big positive for me because I screw everything up. One thing not to forget, your instructions. If you have any questions on what you're doing, their instructions are pretty damn in-depth. So they have everything from entire secondary injector branches that you can run. They run through how to wire everything from your ignition switch, starter motor control, alternator control, all of this stuff. They have kind of pinouts and instructions for how to do it. The other thing is this ECU is 4-plug ECU. Each main connector is keywayed differently. So you can't plug connector A into connector C or connector D into connector B. The main 4-wire connector, those are your high current outputs. Those are capable of powering 25 amps. On this ECU specifically, or this harness specifically, pin number 1 is going to be your injector power. Pin number 2 is going to be your ignition coil packs. They also give you a lead at pin number 4 to control a fuel pump. And then pin number 3 is for fuel pump. And pin number 4 is going to be your radiator fan. They give you all of this pre-terminated and into their own Deutsch connectors, except for obviously injectors and coils. Those are already terminated in the harness. But you have an open pin spot for your fuel pump and your thermo fan with a lead that you can wire up to. Very easy and straightforward. Now, a lot of people ask, what can this ECU do? You know, is it really capable of blah, 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 blah? Here's the deal. These are all inputs and outputs. It has so many inputs and outputs. It has spares for days, from SPIs to AIVs, LMNOPs, QRSTs, and U's and V's. It's got everything you could ever want. It also has, again, onboard wideband. It also has Wi-Fi. It has Wi-Fi, dude. You can literally connect to your ECU remotely with your laptop because it has its own built-in Wi-Fi setup. So you don't have to have a wire hooked to it. So if you're like me and you put a car together and your tuner's like, I don't want to be anywhere near you while this is on the dyno. They can sit like, you know, in the front of the office while they tune. Not pointing any fingers at Hal, but I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to be near my cars either. All right, enough of the selfie camera. When I talk about expandability and I talk about wiring stuff in, this is all the spare harness I have left. Now that's daunting, right? But at the end of the day, it's all nice loom. You can always tie it back and tuck it neatly under the dash and go to it when you need it. So you have everything from spare AVIs, you have your map sensor plug, which I still need to wire, vehicle speed sensor, drive shaft speed sensor, just a bunch of stuff. And then you also have 2 breakouts for transmission control if you're running 4L60, 4L80. And then if you look in the corner here, you'll see a main bulkhead plug. I believe it's an 8-pin Deutsch. And those 2 right there, those run all the way to the back to my Chris 1313 fuel pump relays. Each one of those high current outputs will trigger 1 pump. So I can trigger a single pump under a certain power level, and then at a certain boost level or a certain power level, the other pump will come on and feed fuel. I can also trigger it based on fuel pressure. So if you see a fuel pressure drop, the second pump can kick on, so on and so forth. I'll also use that same pigtail to trigger my radiator fans. And in the meantime, I have a high current output. It's a 25 amp output that is meant for your thermo fan. Again, I'm not using this for my fans. I'm gonna trigger my fans with that plug I just showed you. So I'll use this instead for my trans brake. So nice and neat, Deutsch connector there, run under the car to the trans brake itself. It's gonna come together. Gonna come together. I know that wasn't the most informative DIY video in the world, but I hope you gained a little bit of insight from it. And if you guys have any questions or comments, throw them below. If you can, like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter. If this page is for you, if you hate this page, also share it, but comment like, Logan sucks. Where's Rye? Why hasn't Rye made any videos? Rye, where's he been? Blah, blah, blah.